Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Touchline Banter, the best and your favorite footy podcast. As always, I'm your host, Ruben Dario Chavez Jr., aka Ray Chavo, and with me, my good friend and co-host, Cheyenne Karimi. Cheyenne, we've done the Manchester preview. I'm not going to spoil what happened in this one in the actual game, but definitely not as close a contest as maybe people would have thought, considering they were both kind of wobbling.
Yeah.
But we caught up on a lot of storylines in the Premier League. We wanted to do an official catch-up on Real Madrid, so that's what this podcast will mostly be on. So if you're not a fan of Real Madrid, if you're not a fan of Barcelona, or if you don't care about La Liga, there might not be a lot of juice in this for you, but that's what we're going to talk about. The La Liga season.
I was going to say become a real sports fan, but that's a nicer way.
Yeah. Well, true. But yeah, so we're 4 games into the season of La Liga. Real Madrid sit in first place, 4 wins in 4 games. Barcelona right behind them, 3 wins and a draw. We're going to start off talking about the game that just passed, but this will also just be, I think, our feelings up to this point as to what's happened in the season, right?
100%.
We are officially 4 games, more than 4 games. We're approaching like 10 games into the Xabi Alonso era. Some of these players, obviously players like Carreras, they didn't join up until after the Club World Cup, but Hauschen now has a couple games under his belt. We've started to see kind of who are the protagonists of this season and who it seems is going to need to work to get into the field.
Rodrigo.
Yeah, well, he's definitely the one. But yeah, so to catch everybody up, they beat Real Sociedad yesterday 2-1. Red card put them down to 10 men really early.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure that decision will come up in our conversation. But they ended up hanging on. Sociedad got a penalty. That was their only real goal. Sociedad had a couple chances. I will say, I'm not going to go too much into this thing, but Real Madrid in the second half did look to hold on to what they had. They stopped being progressive at all, so they gave away the ball. But they held on. The defense held tight, and Xavi still with a perfect record in La Liga. So Cheyenne, I throw it to you. Mm-hmm. What are your big thoughts from the game against Real Sociedad?
Overall, I thought it was a good game. There's different talking points that we can start with. I don't want to start with the red card because that's a bit of a negative, and I think I have a interesting or different way of looking at that whole situation.
Okay,
but to overall go with the game, I think the Real Madrid is basically coming into their own under Xabi Alonso, and I would say overall this was a great performance, especially from a team that played with one man down when they shouldn't have, basically for most of the game. One thing that I've seen this entire season so far, and that I think was another translation into this game, the link between Kylian Mbappe and Arda Güler is growing and getting more and more stronger. I really don't see how Arda Güler can be dropped even when Bellingham comes back.
Interesting.
I think that Mastantuono or Brahim, or even I don't think Rodrigo starts regardless. If it was up to me, if I was Xabi Alonso, if you're asking me, I would play looks like he's playing like a 4-2-3-1 with like a narrow version of a 4-2-3-1 with 2 10s. So I would play Bellingham in Mastantuono's position basically, and I would keep Arda Güler down the middle or just swap the two because I think they're very interchangeable. I said it from before the season that I think Arda Güler is going to have a great season. Overall, he's done incredibly well. I think he's really coming into his own. I don't want to overdo it too much. He's still young, he still has a lot to learn, especially from a midfield coach like Xabi Alonso. But he's doing great so far. We know that Mbappe has done well, and we know that especially after this game, I like the comments that I heard from him coming out and saying that I want to die for the shirt, I want to win for the shirt, I want to earn the respect of the fans. Like I'm paraphrasing, but basically, I like the comments that he came out and said, and it's translating to his play onto the field. When you look at the defense, they're solid. Eder Militao, a player who we knew how good he was, but I've been surprised, I don't know about you, that just of how well his fitness has looked and his legs have looked, because I think he's done really well, especially with Rudiger. I'm hearing he's injured now. It could be a few weeks or a month.
Yeah,
like
so that's one thing I didn't say off the top. When we were actually recording the Manchester preview, the news dropped that Rudiger has a problem, like a muscular issue, and it looks like he's going to be out for probably like a month or so.
Yeah.
Militao's resurgence is a good thing when you look at it through that lens.
Yeah, 100%. And specifically in this game, I think Vini Jr., a player who, there's been a lot of stuff being said, especially from the English media and generally from I would say just general media around in the U.S. as well. Specifically, who'd they play in the last game?
Sociedad. Or are you talking about?
Sociedad. No, the one before that. I think it was Mallorca, right? When they played. And it was the whole thing about Vini. What I'm referring to is that there was a whole thing that Vini basically was chirping what I thought was the referee.
Oh, yes. People thought that he was getting upset with Xabi Alonso for pulling
with Xabi Alonso.
Yeah.
I really did not see that at all. I was like, he's 100% talking to the referee because the referee was saying to him, like, hey, listen, like, don't go after the fans because they've been saying stuff to you. And this whole rhetoric that the media is trying to push that, because Xabi Alonso is rotating the squad and we haven't seen a lot of rotation under Ancelotti and Zidane, just like, Ruben's mentioning previously as well. I didn't appreciate that. And I'm like, what is the media trying to push here? Xabi Alonso is rotating. He's pushing for positions. He's pushing for players to fight for those positions. And realistically, it's working because Vini Jr. played well in that game and he scored. And honestly, he's someone who he is fiery and you have to keep him happy and control his emotions. But at times, if you can take that anger and bottle it into the field, to take a quote out of the so-called bald fraud that we say, Pep Guardiola in one of the All or Nothing documentaries, he's like, if you hate me, but just translate that onto the field. If you play better that way, that's fine. And again, I'm not insinuating that he hates Xabi Alonso. That was clearly against the referee. I'm just saying I really don't like this rhetoric that's being pushed. But in this game specifically, he was tracking back. He looked good. Overall, I thought the team looked great, especially with playing 10 men down. And to your point, yeah, they basically held on, which is expected, I guess. It's coming off an international week. Fitness could be an issue and just playing 10 men down. I will throw it over to you with the last thing I will say about my point on the red card. I'm kind of over it, and I don't really care. Like, at this point, I'm like, RFEF is such a dysfunctional organization in La Liga, like the refereeing institution, and we know specifically that Real Madrid, there is biasm towards them. We've said it before, and I've adopted the mentality, and I think Ruben's the same way, that we'll be the bad guys. We'll take the backlash. We'll take the unfair decisions. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to Barcelona. I'm not saying it doesn't happen to other teams, but at this point, I really don't even care. I'm like, I'm so over it. It's fine. It's fine. We'll take it. We've always been the bad guys. We'll be seen as the bad guys. It's all good. We'll win either way. But RFEF just needs to be studied, because a meme I was seeing, some guy was like, the new intro for La Liga needs to be like, yeah, we have referees with controversial calls and we don't care and they make wrong decisions, but that's fine, La Liga. So anyway, it wasn't a red card. It was clear. Militao was the other guy. There was another guy behind him. That's all I have to say on there. I mean, I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually completely agree on the red card. Like, I was pretty tired of it the second that it happened. Like, don't get me wrong, like, when I saw the position of Militao and everything, I was like, oh, that shouldn't be a red card. But I knew it was going to get called a red card. I knew they weren't going to overturn it. They didn't really look at the VAR. And then the minute that it happened, I was like, okay, like, controversial opinion, I guess, as well. Like, we shouldn't need 11 to beat Real Sociedad. Like, they don't look like that cohesive a team. I know that historically they're a very good team and they're a very tough out for Real Madrid. What I saw out there wasn't really like a better version of this Sociedad team beats Real Madrid. Like, that's
sure
the reality once they went down 10 men. Once I realized, like, this is basically a team that doesn't really have a lot of talent trying to go up against Real Madrid, I was kind of like, okay, whatever, it's fine. Honestly, like, I agree with everything you said about it. Like, it was a bad call. I'm not happy about the call, but for me to sit here and be like, oh my God, I can't believe, like, I can believe it. It's happened. Bad decisions happen.
Exactly.
And like, I'm not going to, like, I really just don't see the point in making this like the axe to grind. what did impress me was, again, I'm not saying that Xavi, despite his perfect record, I don't think he's been perfect. There have been things that you see in the team that I do wonder, how will that translate when we start playing opposition that is elite or that is challenging to us or that really has more of a threat? Like, to this point, like, Courtois surrendered 2 goals. One of them's a penalty. And he hasn't really been tested. Like, teams aren't getting that many shots on target.
For sure.
I don't know if that's completely down to the defensive structure or the fact that we've played Sociedad and Mallorca and Osasuna. You know, like, it's a little column A, a little bit of column B. But for me, I was really impressed with the fact that Xavi changed the whole system. He went very defensive, and we had basically like all defenders out there. I mean, he brought on Valverde, he brought on Alaba, he brought on Asensio, etc.
Frank Garcia.
Yeah, like,
it was basically 3, if not 5, at the back.
Yeah,
right?
we were basically parking the bus, and like, it's funny because you could see that as a negative, but they were 10 men down there trying to hold the lead. They didn't need to chase the game. I think that's great. What else did you? I am impressed with Eder Militao. Like, I did say if he's healthy, he would be the one I would pair beside Housen. And you're seeing why. I think they complement each other extremely well. Militao at his best, I think, is a top center back in the world. So I'm very happy that he looks healthy. I'm very happy that his fitness is seemingly at the level where he can play these games. I do think we're going to need rotations. I wonder where that'll come from. It's clear to me, and I don't know if you see it the same way, and I'm not saying that this won't change, but he doesn't trust Asensio. Like, he doesn't.
No.
Because when the red card first happens, he doesn't bring in a center back, which he could have.
Yeah.
He drops Tchouaméni basically down.
Yeah. I don't know if that has to do with the off-field stuff that's going on with Asensio.
Yeah, who knows? It could be a lot.
Yeah, or it could be, he's had a bad preseason. And again, this is the rhetoric that we've pushed and we've said, which again I'm seeing a lot of the opposite of, which I don't get, is that Raul Asensio should not be an out-and-out starter, and his amazing season last year was one of the worst seasons in Real Madrid history. People were like, but he was a stalwart. What am I missing? Like, genuinely.
We've talked about this. I think it generally comes down to, like, a lot of Real Madrid fans, the ones that are from Spain, they just want a Spanish player there. And I do think the ones that aren't from Spain that are trying to push this agenda, Asensio is kind of like, he became a fun player to be on Twitter being like, well, this is our guy. Like, there is a different level of fandom and support and kind of bragging rights you can have for a player that came out of your academy, is your player through and through. You didn't buy him from another place. You're not loaning him. He's your player. So I think people want Asensio to be Sergio Ramos, ignoring the reality of what we've seen out of Raul Asensio. And lately, it just hasn't been good enough. Could he earn his place there? Yeah. But I don't think Xavi has to break his back, giving him the chances to do it, I guess. And that's the part that's crazy to me. And I'll transition, like, all flowers to Eder Militao. It's crazy to me. Like, I do see improvements in Vinicius's performances. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying that he's back at the level where he was Ballon d'Or. Absolutely not. He's still off of that. But he's tracking back. He's running. He's making those runs. He's linking up with Mbappe well. The tricky part is, and this is, I guess, a transition, Mbappe is playing like the best player on the planet. Like, he is looking incredible. He's scored in every game. He's scoring he's not just scoring goals. He's scoring some of the most amazing goals you've seen. Like, he's just creating space out of nothing. He's moving really fluid. You can tell he's feeling himself. I don't care what anybody says. The fact that PSG won the Champions League put a chip on this guy's shoulder. The fact that people are talking like he's not a best player in the world is put a chip on his shoulder, because he looks focused and he looks hungry. The downside to that is, I think he is playing a lot like Cristiano Ronaldo did when he had Bale and Benzema. He's not looking for Vinicius the same way that Vinicius is looking for him. I don't think so. There was a run that Mbappe had where he tried to turn it into a shot where he could have played it to Vinicius and he didn't. I think that is a problem. I do think that if this continues the way that I see it going, they're going to sell Vinicius. Because Vinicius isn't going to play the Benzema role for Mbappe. He's just not. He's like, this was his team. He won, like, technically he won 2 Champions Leagues. He scored in both of the finals. Like, he was the guy. And I don't think he should have to defer to Mbappe. I say that as a fan of Real Madrid and a fan of Vinicius. As a pure neutral person, he should defer to Mbappe because Mbappe is the best player in the world right now. I haven't seen a player play as good as Mbappe is playing right now. Like, it's Mbappe, it's Haaland, and that's it. Like, I really do believe that. But I think people are being very harsh on Vinicius still. And that rhetoric and that feeling, I think, is going to bleed in. And I do think he's going to eventually be moved on, which makes me sad. It makes me sad because I see this, like, agenda, I guess I would call it, being pushed. And no matter what Vinicius does, like, even the fact that he scored a goal, and, like, I can only speak on the things I see online. And obviously, like, I've talked about on this podcast, I'm in the Real Madrid official supporters group for Toronto. Like, people aren't on the Vinicius train again. Even this game, people were like, yeah, like swap him out. No, like, you got to change him. So people are still looking, they're focusing on the things he's doing wrong and not acknowledging the things he's doing right. So to me, there's an agenda. And, like, that agenda is going to get louder and louder. And while we may think that agenda has no correlation to what Florentino will do, the reality is Vinicius has been pulled early from all these games. He wasn't really pulled early when Ancelotti was the coach. And we can sit here and say, like, well, you know, Xabi Alonso, rotation, yes. But there is a big difference between, hey, Vinicius, sit this game because it's against Oviedo and it's a Copa del Rey, like, round of 32. We need to save you for the Champions League. Versus, I'm pulling you in the 60th, 70th minute to see out this game with a player that's not you. That's different. It's a different vibe. It has a different message to me. So, to me, I think Alonso trusts Mbappe more than Vinicius. And that's fine. Mbappe has earned that trust. But I just see this isn't going to make for a very harmonious contract negotiation, is what I think. And I'm looking ahead on that. But I am encouraged that Vinicius is doing more. Mbappe, the first goal that Madrid scored was purely just him pouncing on a mistake, being aggressive defensively, turning an error from Sociedad into a goal. Beautiful. And he finished it greatly. I'll disagree with you on the Arda Güler thing. I think people are pumping his tires up way too much. He's doing well. Don't get me wrong. But if Bellingham's back and we're going to play 3 up top, I want a right winger, and it's not him. Put him on the bench. Like, I see what people see. I'm not going to say I don't see what people see. Güler is very technically sound. He's creative. He finds space. We haven't played a team that's physical the way that we played in the Club World Cup. I can only think back to when we played PSG, and he was turned into a ghost. And when he was turned into a ghost, he got upset. He started yelling at Jude. He thinks he's better than he is already, I think. And even his goal, it was a good goal. He found space. Him and Mbappe clearly understand each other in a way that no one else really seems to understand Mbappe yet. And you could argue that is value into keeping him. But I would like to again say we're not blowing the doors off of these teams. Like, besides Oviedo, which we beat 3-0, every other game every other game has been 1-0. It's been a 1-goal thing. The games have been tight. I don't think Arda defends well. I don't think Arda is physical enough. We need Jude in the middle to make those crashing runs. One of the things that Militao's done so well is on set pieces and in those moments when you're getting late players into the box, the ball keeps finding his head because he's strong, he's physical, and he gets up there. Arda's not doing that. He's not doing that in open play. I know that on set pieces, he's the one usually doing the
I was gonna say I don't think he's looked to like do that either.
But I want that from our number 10. We like this isn't
okay. I get your point.
This isn't 10 years ago. Like everyone wants to make him Ozil and Mbappe.
I was gonna say that.
Ronaldo. Yeah. Well, guess what? If Ozil was playing nowadays and we played Ozil against City, against PSG, against Arsenal, we're losing that game. We're gonna get overrun. Like it. I know that Valverde started on the bench because he said he couldn't do 90 minutes. And kudos to Xavi for listening to that. Kudos to him not running Valverde into the ground. But why did Valverde come on at the end of the game? Because we needed players with legs who would defend.
Yeah, physicality, defense. Yeah.
So to me, Arda doesn't have that. It's all good. Like, he's great. He's going to be great. He has a long ways to go before he's Kroos, before he's Modric. But a couple of assists and a goal here has made people kind of lose their heads. Bellingham gets over him 100% of the time. If we're playing this formation, sure, you could stick him out on the right wing. But I think, in my head, if you put him on the right, he's in front of Trent. Sometimes he might be in front of Carvajal. Carvajal's a bit older, coming back from an injury, and Carvajal hasn't looked bulletproof, let's say. There have been some times where players look like they can get the back of him, and Trent has his deficiencies. I don't want a player that is going to add to the defensive deficiencies to the right-hand side. When last season, when we were racking our brains, defensive, whatever, anytime we had Vasquez on the right-hand side, it's like we're shipping goals. To me, Arda's the same thing. We're just inviting more pressure on that right-hand side. He's not strong enough yet. That doesn't mean he won't get there. That doesn't mean that he cannot one day play. And if the formation is different, yeah, sure. But to me, I don't think he should be nailed onto the 11. I think people want him to be Ozil, and we all are very excited, but I don't see why people are so high on him and we're ignoring the good work that everyone else is doing, I guess, is my overall point to this. Like, Carreras, to me, has been phenomenal. He's been fucking excellent. Even Trent, like, his last game, he looked a lot more settled. He looked like he was more confident. Housen, like, I think a lot of players are outperforming Arda. Arda's just getting the stats because these are bad teams, and he's finding space because there's space to be found against teams that don't play physical and that aren't as good as you. But I'm not convinced that he's a nailed-on starter. I think Xavi wants him to be, but I do worry that if he starts a Clásico, we're going to get cooked because he's out there. Because
is Rodrigo this your solution though, or someone else like this? Like, would you have?
I would, yeah. I really would. You
would go with Rodrigo's your
and that's. I guess I'll finish off my one last point. I've been rambling a bit. I get that Rodrigo is persona non grata. They were trying to sell him. It was an open secret. He was linked to Arsenal, City. He wanted to be sold, but no one wanted to pay the money that it would take to get Rodrigo. So, ergo, Rodrigo stays on Real Madrid. I've been a long believer, and we said it in reference to Amorim in the Manchester episode. If you are a good coach, you will find space and find a way to make talented players work. That is your job. That is quite literally the remit of a good coach. I think that if Xabi Alonso does not find a way to bring the best out of Rodrigo, he is doing a detriment to the team and proving that he is not quite the grand coach that he is making, that people want him to be. And that seems a bit harsh because we're 4 out of 4, but the same thing we say about Pep Guardiola, where he needs these little toys and these robots that play these roles. You're telling me that Rodrigo, a player that has proven that he can be an impact sub off the bench, that has proven that he can play on the left, through the middle, through the right, we can't find space for him? We can't find minutes for him? We can't find a way to put him in the best position to get some of his talent out? Forget about long term. Even if Xabi Alonso's project does not include Rodrigo a year from now, 2 years from now, 3 years from now, however long he wants to be there and however long he, gets the job done to be there. You're telling me this year, this season, a multiple-time Champions League winner, someone who scored goals at key moments. We can't find minutes for him? And I like Franco, and I like Arda, and I like Vinicius, and I like Mbappe, and I love like Jude, and I love all these players, Valverde, etc. He can't get any run in? No, I have to see Ceballos out there. Ceballos, who also wanted to leave, who was angling to leave, and who we know what Ceballos is.
Or even like Camavinga. Is he not one other player that is just not playing?
He's not. He's not fit. He's still him. Endrick, and Jude are still not healthy.
Okay, all right, that makes sense. I wasn't sure about. I knew the other two. I wasn't sure about
Camavinga when he comes back. So to me, like that's the troubling part. I like the rotations. It's clear that Alonso's not going to do the Ancelotti where it's like these are my 11 and I'm rolling them out every game and like. I hope that like Valverde played so many minutes last season.
Yeah, we can't make him like that again.
And like you spoke on the Rudiger thing. Ancelotti may have shortened that player's career.
Sure. Yeah.
Like with Possibly. The injuries that are compounding now. How much longer does Rudiger have at the elite level? If it's like, I'm picking up a knee injury here, a thigh injury.
It's definitely like. There could be a correlation, or it could just be something else.
Yeah, of course, it could just be like naturally his body is starting to give up. But like
what you're saying makes sense.
So
over 30 into the later years, playing too many minutes, not rotating, makes sense, 100%.
So I do appreciate that he's rotating. But I don't know. I guess I'm the fly in the ointment of the Arda Güler, the greatest midfielder of all time. I want to see more of Rodrigo.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I don't understand because and I think that's the part that's frustrating sometimes about Real Madrid fans. And I'm not including you in this, obviously, because we won some games that we should have won. Everyone's just ignoring the fact that we're not using all of the tools to our disposal. Like, has Gonzalo Garcia really played? Has he gotten an opportunity to show himself?
No.
And I thought part of the things that we were all lauding about Xavi was like, well, he trusted in this player. He's trusting okay, well, if his trust is really just Tchouaméni, you're going to be like the Granit Xhaka of this team, and Arda, I'm going to try to make you into me. That's not. I don't think that's better than what we had. Really, I need to see more. I want to see Garcia. I want to see him play against adult competition in a tournament that isn't this weird Club World Cup. And I want to see what it looks like when he's beside Mbappe or Vinicius or Rodrigo. Or I want to see it. I want to see Rodrigo with Vinicius and Mbappe more. Like that, we brought Xavi in on some level thinking that he could solve that puzzle. If the solution to the puzzle is just getting rid of a piece, fuck, we could have done that for Ancelotti, really.
That's a very good way of putting it.
You know what I mean?
That's a very good way of putting it. Yeah. So one thing I will say is that, obviously we talk about what we do a general talk before we start the podcast, and we just generally say what we want to talk about, and we go from there. So I will say that I didn't expect Ruben to kind of be, I don't want to use negative, but kind of a more down than I would say myself and most Real Madrid fans. But one thing I will say is that, we are Real Madrid fans. We're doing a La Liga episode, but the reason that we both do this podcast is because we challenge each other on opinions. And one reason that I value Ruben's opinions on general sports is that he challenges the norm, even my opinions as well, and it makes you think. I did say that with Arda, I don't want to pump his tires too much, and I absolutely.
Oh yeah, I think you're being way more reasonable about him than I've seen anybody be. Again, people are making edits about him and Mbappe like it's Ozil and Ronaldo. It's been 4 games. It's been 4 games.
Can we stop? Can we please stop? That's the exact thing I was gonna say. It's first of all, do I like Güler and what he's doing? Yeah, absolutely. Do I disagree with any of the points that Ruben has made regarding Güler and, his physicality, lack of tracking back, his diminutive size, etc., etc.? No, Not at all. 100%. We even face teams that realistically we should beat, and a lot of those results have been tight games. Is this the teething phase of Real Madrid not having a proper preseason and Xabi getting his style in and the players getting the flow? Yeah, I agree. That's what's absolutely going on. But again, just because Goulet has scored some goals and had some good passes and link-up play with Mbappe doesn't mean he is Mesut Ozil.
Yeah,
and again, we saw Ozil's deficiencies in Arsenal. Ozil on his day had some of the most unreal goal and passes for Arsenal, but Arsenal fans were like, my God, this guy can't defend a pylon, like let alone an actual like player of a high level. So just like we've said with Lamine Yamal, let's pump the brakes on Arda Güler as well, because I agree that there could be a conversation of that he shouldn't be a nailed-on starter. I think the nailed-on starters are Bellingham, Mbappe, Vini, Valverde. We generally know who it's going to be.
Tchouaméni now, because like again, we haven't given this. Like Tchouaméni's been fucking
Tchouaméni, immense, unbelievable.
I'm saying
unbelievable.
Tchouaméni, now that Rodri's cooked, that's the best DM on the planet. Like you're welcome. 100%. He's looking amazing.
Yeah,
so, like this isn't Real Madrid, but the pass he did in for France where he set up Mbappe,
yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
that was like a Paul Pogba pass. Like that was fucking crazy.
Oh, yeah. Like Paul Scholes vibes I was getting.
Oh, it was nuts. It was so good.
Yeah. Tchouaméni again was one player, and with Camavinga as well, that I mentioned that like have we seen the peak of these guys and the growth under Ancelotti? No, and I think that's coming out of under Xabi Alonso. I'm gonna just continue on this point because we're there, but I do think there's a lot of unpack there, and you make a lot of good points. So I don't think that Mastantuono is absolutely a nailed-on starter. I don't think that he should start on that right side. I personally, the reason that I don't think Rodrigo should either be a nailed-on starter is because I don't think that he offers much more on the defensive side than Güler does. I know he can, but I've not seen it as much. The other thing is that personally, I'm of the opinion now is that I want to see something different. We saw the issues that Mbappe, Vini, and Rodrigo, the three of them up top, bring. There's not a lot of tracking back. We're just starting to see that from Vini. The lack of cohesiveness, basically, with the three of them. All three kind of want to play on the left side. It didn't work with Rodrigo, so that's why I'm like, let's try Güler in the middle, Güler on the right, Bellingham in the middle, Bellingham on the right, whatever it has to be, right?
I guess my thing is Bellingham shouldn't be on the right. He's better in the middle. He's better.
100%. And I would say,
but then Güler is also better in the middle. So you're sacrificing one of their best positions, which is what we're doing with Rodrigo. So that's the only reason why I'm like, I think that I'll let you finish. Like I agree with you about Franco. Like people are very positive. I think he's really good. And there was I don't know if it was the first game against Osasuna. It might have been the game against Mallorca, but he got introduced late and he was running his tail off and he was pressuring and they end up like linking up for a goal. Him and someone, he was like part of the movement. And I was like, yeah, that's what your position should be. Your position should be introduced late into a game, young legs, make chaos happen, make some stuff happen. Kind of ironically, in the way that we used Rodrigo when he was first coming through, introduce a bit of quality, introduce some young legs, some fresh legs. I agree with you. He shouldn't be a starter. The only reason I say that Rodrigo should be there instead of Güler is that while I agree that he's not a perfect player defensively, I think the gap between him and Güler is sizable enough that I think you should try it. But that's my opinion. But,
just merit alone, just because of what he's done, you could say that. But obviously, you go off form. We judge recent form. It's kind of what have you done for me lately, kind of thing. I think that pushing Güler to the right could cause problems for him. But when I've looked at his play and I look at the advanced stats on him, he can kind of do a job like on the right side as he did for. Who did he play for in Turkey? Was it Fenerbahce or Besiktas?
It was Fenerbahce, I'm pretty sure.
Fenerbahce. So I think it's possible. But the whole reason that I'm saying this is that I think we shouldn't play the 4-3-3 anymore.
I agree with that.
Would bring Rodrigo off the bench more or start him. The way I'd see it is that again, you play a narrow 4-2-3-1 with two attacking. Basically, it would be three attacking mids Vinny's more of a winger than an attacking mid. He still kind of does his thing. Or you play the diamond, and it's Vinny and Mbappe up top, and the diamond of Mbappe, Goulet, Tchouaméni, and Valverde. I actually think in that diamond you could possibly cover up the deficiencies of Goulet's lack of tracking back more, but also you're in more narrow formation, etc. So that's basically I end on there. With Rodrigo, I will say one thing is that people are saying, he's angry. He wanted to be sold. He was subbed off one game. You could see him like slamming the ground on the bench, and he didn't want to go off. I don't view that as a bad thing. I don't know about you, but
No,
it's like
for
I
sure.
want to see that from my player on my team. I want you to be pissed if you're not getting good minutes, if you're not starting and you're angry about it, and it's pushing you to even want to get a move, or if the club's generating that movement, whatever it may be. I want to see you upset because again, make it. The only thing I'll say with Rodrigo, and this goes to every player on Real Madrid, play to a point that you can't be dropped.
100%.
We've seen that the issues with the cohesiveness last season. Now, Xabi Alonso is a new coach and come in, and could he completely fix the issues with the cohesiveness of the front three? 100%. But that's also on Rodrigo specifically, just because I'm talking about him, to make it to play at a level that he can't be dropped. So,
100%.
Yes, be angry. And if that's going to make you play better, 100%. If that drops Goulet to the bench, perfect. Realistically, I believe on merit and on talent, Rodrigo is absolutely a better player. Absolutely a better player. I was listening to a British podcast, I think it was The Club, and they had a caller from Real Madrid, and he was talking about like him being sold to Man City. And he's like, I think he's one of the most overrated players in like the recent years of Real Madrid. And I'm like, huh? Rodrigo? Really? Okay. Anyway, that's just another point.
Yeah, that's crazy.
To the bigger point, which I think is the more interesting conversation that you mentioned of the agenda with Mbappe and Vini. I'm kind of torn on that because I don't know if there's necessarily an agenda being pushed that hard, but I don't deny any of your points. And the reason that I say that is that we know that Mbappe was Fiorentino's guy. Mbappe has never been dropped under Xabi Alonso. And we can see just the way that Fiorentino favors him behind the scenes. It's just the way that, he is with him. Yeah, I agree that there could be something going on with Vini as well. This goes just back to the same thing that I've just been saying for so long. We never needed Mbappe.
No,
the club and the play style was much more harmonious and was much more cohesive without Mbappe and an out-and-out striker. Even if that was, oh my God, I'm blanking on his name again. The guy we had on loan. Yes, Jose. Thank you. How dare I forget his name?
The GOAT?
Yeah.
The GOAT?
Obviously, we know what the front three did with Benzema there and Rodrigo and Vini. But this is what we kept saying, is that you're bringing in a player who is not an out-and-out striker, who is more of a left winger. It's going to disgruntle the squad. And now we're seeing this from Vini of, like I'm saying, there's this rhetoric being pushed from the media that he's fighting with Xabi Alonso and that he's being subbed off or is being subbed on. All that stuff is going on there. And yeah, to be honest, I've seen when you're mentioning that, Mbappe is playing like Ronaldo did when Bale was there first introduced and Benzema was there as well. Yeah, I've seen that actually a lot. And I did agree with you that, hey, you should have looked for Vini. You should have looked for another player there, whoever that may be. But I wasn't drawing that comparison. But that's a very interesting and good comparison that I think that you bring there, because I think he's trying to prove that, I'm the guy and I deserve to be here. And it's like, I'm not the problem. But then it brings on the conversation of Vini has been and is, if not one of the best left winger in the world. This guy was playing out of his mind. We know that if you build a team around him and you can find players who are creative and can find him in space, he can absolutely obliterate teams. Rodrigo, we've seen that is disgruntled and is, taking his toys and running and out of and just leaving and saying, I don't want to play here anymore and doing that. So it's like the question then becomes is that what's the end game? What's the goal then here? It's like, do we sell Vini and not sell Rodrigo? Do we sell Rodrigo and keep a disgruntled Vini? It's like you still see it in a lot of games, because I was like, okay, Xabi Alonso is going to come in here and he's going to say something different, or he's going to echo a different voice to Mbappe and say that, hey, listen, you can't keep taking up space on the left. We need you down the middle. When you come there, we're it happened. And I think it was the Oviedo game or one of the other games. They're just crossing to nobody there. And I'm like, why are they crossing? There's literally no one there.
And that's where like my like my conspiracy brain thing is, where it's like, yeah, we have Trent, who's a good crosser. We have Housen, who's playing these long, deep balls, like who go through the middle. Carreras has proven himself to be someone that can get the ball on the wing and get it into the box. That's why we need Bellingham back. That's why Bellingham needs to be in the middle, because he'll eat. Like I think he'll feast on those.
100%.
But that's why I do think ultimately both Vinicius and Rodrigo are going to get moved on.
Yeah, and if that's the case, honestly, that is really an unfortunate circumstance that I think they'd be pushing, because you're forcing out two players who, at their best, are some of the best players in the world, if not like, the best players in their position, to fit in a guy, again, that we didn't need. Now, is Mbappe right now the best player in the world? He's playing out of his mind. 100%. Like Ruben said, who's playing better than it right now? Like, I don't know, Mo Salah, maybe Erling Haaland. Like, really, I can't really think of anybody. So, but then like, you're sacrificing the greater good, in my opinion, if you're doing that. And that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. And again, I'm not saying that like any of your points are wrong, and I don't believe that something like that could be happening, because we've seen Real Madrid often sell players that they shouldn't to fit in like a superstar or a Galactico or a best player in the world. But it's just like, you're gonna sell Vini to who, and then he's gonna come to the Bernabeu and like burn you or Rodrigo and do that.
Yeah,
it's a really tough situation. Yeah. That's why I think maybe the diamond, a 4-1-2-1-2, a narrow diamond, you could fit both of them there as two strikers, like quote unquote. They would still have issues of drifting over to the left side, but yeah, it's questions that we had.
I do think the diamond, unironically, is the best place. That is the best way to play. Like because I don't know.
I'm interested to see what happens when Bellingham comes in, because just like you mentioned, just like he's going to feast on those crosses. That was one of the reasons that I thought that he's probably going to be player of the year for us when we did our preview predictions for La Liga. But yeah, it's early, right? And I think Ruben's points are all correct, that we have to see how these players fare against actual legit competition in La Liga and in Europe in general. How is Goulet going to do? How is Vini going to do? How is the system going to fare overall? So, I mean, it's been a positive start, but there's definitely a lot of questions still to be answered.
If we look ahead, Marseille, we're playing them Tuesday, so 2 days from now. Marseille are 7th in Liga, but they're pretty well coached team with De Zerbi. They have, Bellingham's friend who he got in the face of. They have Greenwood, Aubameyang. They have some names that you'll know if you've been watching football for a bit. They're not going to be a pushover team. They're not.
Yeah.
And then after that, it's Espanyol, who is a tough out.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're
Levante.
But then it's the Derby.
Yeah.
Espanyol is currently in 6th. They're tied with Villarreal for 7th. Levante is like relegation. Okay, whatever. They're like they're fodder. But Levante, Marseille, and Atletico. And Atletico are having a bad year, right? And last year, the thing that really killed Ancelotti more than anything was his performances in the games against Atletico and Barcelona.
Yeah.
So we'll see, because I do wonder how Alonso will approach those games. And I do wonder who is going to be
the odd man out.
Honestly, because I think more and more we're seeing who he likes. Carreras, he really likes. And we were talking in the Club World Cup. Oh, man, Fran is cooking. Like, Fran could see more minutes.
Yeah.
Fran has barely touched the field, and we're not playing like big teams. Like, there could have been a rotation. He's rotated Carvajal and Trent more. And Trent is like a Premier League player who's won leagues with Liverpool, won a Champions League. And we're rotating him with Carvajal. We're not rotating Carreras for Fran Garcia. So we're already starting to learn, like, oh, Xavi likes this guy. He also really likes Ceballos. He's finding ways to play Ceballos. Like,
why?
I'm with you. I don't know why, but Ceballos has found his way. I mean, he started last game.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't get it. It's interesting because I'm drawing parallels with us from. I'm thinking of last season what we were saying, and it's like a roles of reverse because I feel like I was actually more harsh and critical last
You
season.
were.
You were like, it's fine.
I
You were
kept.
like, everything's
I had
okay.
I had a lot of faith in
Yeah,
Carlo
yeah.
Ancelotti. I did.
I'm actually the other side now. I think it's going to be okay. I think they're going to figure it out. I think when Bellingham comes back, they might have to switch the shape or do something like that. I really think, if you're personally asking me where I think it's going to go, I think Vinny fits in, and I just think that Rodrigo is going to be eventually just like casted out or sold. That's where I think it's going to go. But we could look back on this podcast, and it's a completely different situation, and it's going to be a really, really different thing. But it's been like overall, there's a lot of positive signs, but there's also a lot of questions that we still need to see. Like the Derby's going to tell a lot against a team that they're going to set up shop against us and put 12 guys in the back. And I know I said 12.
Yeah, well, I mean, fucking Simeone will go out there and slide tackle someone if he has to. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
Did you want to talk about Barcelona at all?
Yeah, we can. Yeah. I think you put a good cap on that. I have some questions and concerns. I think you're more positive. I am let me say one last thing before we move on. Like overall, I am positive on Real Madrid. I came into the season saying that this team should win La Liga, the Copa del Rey, Supercopa. I think the Champions League we should do well in. I do think that I look at this team, and my questions right now are like, how do we match up against Arsenal? How do we match up against Bayern? How do we match up against PSG? How do we match up against Inter, Napoli, like these other teams that we're going to have to see in the later rounds of the Champions League, potentially? Those are the ones I'm worried about because a lot of those teams have very physical players, very talented players. And I wonder how we really do in combating that. But 4 out of 4 wins. We're getting it done. That's what champions do. And Alonso has started off basically as well as he could have. Like the only thing that could have been better is if he got Vinicius playing Ballon d'Or level football out of the gate. But you know,
if the results were a little bit more convincing, I guess.
Yeah, these things take time. Barcelona. All right. Basically Barcelona is what I thought they would be.
Okay.
Man, I always
they won 6-0 today.
Yeah. Yeah. They won 6-0 against Valencia. Valencia's dog shit. They drew with Rayo. They surrendered 2 to Levante. They should have lost that game to Levante. They got bailed out by a penalty. They beat Mallorca 3-1. Look, I don't think anybody in the world was ever worried about Barcelona offensively. If you were, then you just haven't been watching Barcelona. They're a good offensive team. They have been because of the way Hansi Flick plays. They have been because of the fact that, they have Yamal and Lewandowski and Rafinha, who I haven't heard too much about Rafinha lately, but he still has 3 goals and an assist. But, I just don't hear a lot of Rafinha talk anymore. They're still fragile at the back. I still think they have questions to answer in their defense. And now that Yamal is hurt, I don't even know if he played today.
No, he didn't.
He didn't, right? He got hurt in international duty. And the reports are that Barcelona kind of told Spain, like, hey, he's nursing an injury. Like, maybe don't overuse him. And Spain played him both games anyways that they had to play. And he was out there a lot. It's the same thing. It's the flip side. It's the other part of my thing with Arda Güler. I don't want to run these young kids into the ground, man. I really don't. Your body's still developing at that age. You're still needing to grow and get weight on you and strength. If you play these kids 90 minutes week in, week out, multiple times a week, you're stunting their growth. You're stunting their ability to develop healthily. You're taxing them. It's dumb, but a 30-year-old, you've done all the growing you can go. Basically, your job there is to push your body until it breaks, to get your money, and then leave. But a kid, he has the rest of his life ahead of him. And the way that they're handling him all, if I was a Barcelona fan, I'd be afraid. You don't want another Ansu Fati. I remember him. He was really good. You don't want another Ricky Puig. I remember him. He was really good. Rashford's done nothing. It's funny how I remember when everyone was like, oh my God, Rashford in the preseason looks so good. Oh my God, Rashford is so good. Rashford, what's he done? What's he done? He's done nothing. People were saying, could Rashford play himself into the England squad? Yeah, sure. If everybody in England is injured, then Rashford will get into the English squad. Barcelona's fine. They're a fine team. They're going to be competitive. They've played pretty easy competition so far and not looked convincing. I do think that once the games start coming thick and fast, they're going to be in trouble. I don't think they have the depth that Real Madrid have. And like somehow they have less depth than they do last year. And I don't even know that they lost anybody, but it just feels that way. And part of it is because like I do think players like Kubarsi don't look good. I mean, Araujo's not even really playing. He didn't play today, so he's cooked. You got Eric Garcia, Koundé, Martin. And like look at their bench.
They had 5 guys on the bench today. And that was Christian Chesney, Araujo, Tony Fernandez, and Diego Cochin, which 2 out of 3 I've never heard of before.
And then that's my point, right? Like they started with Torres, Rashford, Lopez, Casado, Pedri, Koundé, Garcia, Kubarsi, Martin, and Garcia, and Bardish, whatever you say his name.
Yeah.
So on the bench they had Lewandowski, Rafinha, Olmo, Bernal, Torrentes, Araujo, Christensen, and the ones that you've already gone through. Obviously, if Yamal is there, they have him as like one of the starting 11. But we're literally, our whole conversation about Real Madrid is like, well, who do you drop? Like, is Arda Güler nailed on starter? Do you bring in Rodrigo?
Mm-hmm.
Like, Bellingham's going to come back. Camavinga. Militao is really good. We still have Asensio that, we have to see what we brought in Alaba this week. There's so many players in Real Madrid that we have to call on that are either established players who what they can bring and they're going to do it at a high level, or really exciting talents that are breaking in. Barcelona's kind of on the other end of that. Their established players are getting older, and I would argue losing a step, and their young players have already broken through, and I think we've seen their ceiling.
Yeah.
So it just, to me, on the outside looking in, it feels like this is a worse team than what it was last
Like their 11 is their 11, and outside of that, it's not really much.
That's what I'm saying.
But then with Real Madrid, it's like, obviously, we don't want to worry about who's being sold, and we don't want to worry about who's fitting in. But these are actually problems that you do want to have, because it's a plethora of options and a plethora of players in good positions. So that's why I think it's actually a more positive outlook when you look at it on Real Madrid. And to summarize Ruben's points, I don't disagree with really anything he said. Barcelona has done what I thought as well they would do. They look a great offensive team. Great. Thanks. We knew that last season. I'll say the same thing that we said for Real Madrid. I'm going to pull up their fixtures here. Let's see how they do against some real competition. Same thing. You've looked pretty good so far. Obviously, they dropped one result. They drew. They're second in the league. But coming up, they got Newcastle in the Champions League. I actually think that could be a really interesting game. High pressing, high energy team from Eddie Howe, away from home. Let's see how they do there. They have Getafe. We know Getafe can cause problems. Oviedo becomes easy. They have Sociedad. Then they get PSG and Sevilla. A lot of interesting results to see what they do and how they play. But yeah, the question just happens. It comes up again, is that how is that defense going to hold? They started Kubarsi and they started Eric Garcia. My question again is that why is Eric Garcia anywhere near a top flight team? Who does Eric Garcia have dirt on? Who does he have dirt on? He is the Malachi Flynn of the La Liga this season for me.
That's a deep cut CSM joke. Yeah, that's an industry plant.
He's an industry plant. He has dirt on somebody. Because why is this guy starting? I don't get it. I really don't get it. Yeah, I agree with you. Marcus Rashford has done Marcus Rashford things of reason, which is sad to see because he's a player that I thought was exciting to watch, but he's basically been like, whatever. Rafinha scored 2 goals today. Great for him. Again, we hadn't really heard a lot about Rafinha until before this. Right now, yeah, it's a wait and see approach for me with Barcelona. It's the only thing I will say is that I have this interesting point is that my friend is like, it's an interesting point of view. I actually prefer when Barcelona is relevant rather than the absolute shambles they were for like the past few seasons where they were absolutely just terrible and they couldn't get anybody. They were just dog shit in every single competition. When they're actually slightly relevant, I'm like, it's more fun because then when we beat them, it's like I can make more fun of you.
No,
So,
for sure. It's nice when they're
yeah.
competitive, but at the same time, I like seeing them be inept. Yeah, I that's kind of how I feel. They're looking like how they look, and we'll see. I think this Newcastle game on Thursday is going to be indicative for me as to how good I think their year is going to go. One thing I will say in the La Liga preview, I said I was more worried about Atletico Madrid winning the league as opposed to Barcelona. I may have been too complimentary to Atletico Madrid because they are ass.
Oh,
They're
man.
the whole they're
man,
bad. I'd like.
What is going on there? Actually, like I don't even understand. Is it just a Simeone thing again? Is it just?
And the worst part is like, how could they ever fire him? Like he's synonymous to their club.
I don't know.
But you draw against Alaves, you draw against Elche. They're playing Liverpool on Wednesday.
Yeah,
and it's at Anfield.
Yeah. But like that could be a blitz, or that just could be like a 0-0 draw because they're just going to set up shop.
It could be very, it could be an Atletico Madrid masterclass, a 1-0 win.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question: when do you think that the Atletico Madrid fans and the board and everybody starts looking at Simeone and saying that, like, okay, like, thanks, but we're good? Like, is it ever going to happen?
If this season keeps going the way that it does, I think they're going to have a frank conversation with him.
Okay.
Because
like outside of top four.
Yeah. I think you have to. Purely based off the fact that, look, he's won a league, right? Like, he won the league. He brought Atletico Madrid to 2 Champions League finals. That's not nothing. That you can't say that that's nothing. I'm trying to think of a comparison in other sports, but ironically enough, the only comparison I can think of is like Eric Spoelstra. But like an Eric Spoelstra's team has never really fallen off this hard with like the kind of players that they have.
Yeah.
This kind of feels like the Raptors with Nick Nurse. It's like, you won the title. And I know Nurse kind of wanted to leave. It felt like he had a difference of opinion. And maybe that's what it becomes. Like, Simeone has talked about wanting to coach Inter and like in Italy. He's obviously, he played there as a player. I'm sure Argentina, whenever they're done the cycle with the current coach, would call on him. He's, but I do think like it's been too many years of they haven't really been threatening.
Yeah.
There was a moment there where it was like Atletico, Barca, and Real Madrid all look like they could win the title. The last few years have been like Barcelona and Real Madrid look like they could win the title. And
like I'm thinking from that, and that's the season they won the league with Diego Costa, and they made the Champions League final as well. Aside from that, and maybe like one of the seasons that Luis Suarez played there.
Yeah, because they won it in the Suarez League.
When have they really ever actually challenged? So it's like they seem to be running the danger of becoming like the Arsenal of the Premier League, where it's like you're there, but you're not really there. It's like, you can cause problems. We know what you're going to do. We know what your deficiencies are. You never really change. You're going to be top 4, and that's it. And it's like, as a fan base and as like a board, how long can you just accept that? It's like, we're in it. Like we're there. We're always in the Champions League. We're always competing for La Liga. We never win it. Like every once every 30 years we might win one. It's just a weird situation to me. I don't really get it. I don't know if I'm missing something from like Atleti fans. If there's any out there, let me know.
He's been their most successful coach, right? Like it's weird, but like they don't have the pedigree. And like if you look at it overall, he's managed them since December 23, 2011. So it's been like 15 years, 743 games, 439 wins, 164 draws, 140 losses. He has a 59.08 win percentage. it's still winning more games than you lose. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And as a manager, they won La Liga in 2013, and they won it in 2020. Copa del Rey back in 2012, Supercopa 2014. They've won the Europa League twice in 2011 and in 2017, and they won the UEFA Super Cup in 2012 and 2018.
I mean, aside from the Europa League, and obviously we know the leagues that they won and the Copa del Rey, it's like a lot of those are trophies that, like, how much weight do they actually hold? That's my question.
No, I agree. I do think that, like, fans are going to start asking. I think like the Joao Felix transfer and failure was the first, like, you couldn't make that work, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And like they keep trying to bring in players, and even like now, like Conor Gallagher feels like a peripheral player. Last year he was more important. A talented player they brought in presumably with his blessing, and now it seems like he doesn't know what to do with him. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's like he had that one generation with like Koke and Costa and Godin, and Oblak and all those boys, and like they all understood how he wanted to play. But now even Griezmann, I know Griezmann is still there, but he's getting older and he can't really do the things he used to do. He hasn't found a way to replace those guys and to still get his system to be played the way that he wants it to, I guess.
Yeah. It's interesting to see. I wonder if Julian Alvarez is going to fall down that Joao Felix route. I mean, he has a goal and assist so far in 4 starts, so that's pretty good.
Alvarez is good. Yeah, I like Alvarez. I thought that he could come to Madrid and be really good.
Interesting.
I really did.
One that I really ever thought about.
When we were talking about getting Mbappe, he was somebody that because I knew they weren't going to spend a lot of money on a striker. It just felt because the only way they would have ever splashed the cash on a big striker is if Mbappe said no 100%. But he was someone I was like, I think he could play the number 9 for Madrid. I mean, he's still good. Other players have crossed over. Shout out
another Exodus.
But yeah, he's someone that I do rate. I rate his work rate. And honestly, like if you look at it, like if the worst case scenario comes to pass with Vinicius and Rodrigo, Alvarez is a hardworking guy who defends, who presses, and realistically, this kind of ties into my whole thing about why I think Arda Güler is not a nailed-on starter. In modern football, you need a lot of hardworking players, and then maybe you need like 1 or 2 that can make magic happen, that you're okay with them not working as hard because they can make the magic happen. And right now, Madrid has Vinicius and Mbappe, and when Rodrigo was starting, who were fighting to be the guys to make the magic happen. And I think you only really need 2 because we have a lot of hardworking players that can make magic happen, like with Valverde and Jude Bellingham and Tchouaméni and Housen and Militao and now Carreras and even Trent. Like, I know people dog on him, but he's a hardworking player. So I'm like, I'd rather have Camavinga out there because I know Camavinga works hard and can also make magic happen. I like making magic happen. To me, is not enough to get you a start. It's just not.
Yeah, you have to do the dirty work and the responsibilities that nobody wants to do of tracking back and running.
And I think Alvarez can do that. So Alvarez, come on down.
Anyway,
you and Gonzalo. Well, I mean, we're already over it now, or we can wrap it up whatever you want. Yeah. Do you have anything to say? I mean, we talked about Barcelona briefly. I think we're both kind of in the same boat.
Yeah,
we'll see what they become.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think we generally we spoke about everything we wanted to. We have differentiating point of views on Real Madrid, I would say, slightly at the start of the season.
It's funny because like last season, you're right. I didn't think about that. We're completely opposite. You were
last season. I was like, fucking Mbappe, I'm done.
You were a lot more, and I kept being like, no, like I see positive trends. You know, this, that, and the other. Yeah, and it's funny because I think last year we did one of these podcasts like off the back of a 3-0 win. They beat up on a bad team.
Yeah.
And I was so like, oh, like this could be the start. Like I'm starting to see.
I remember that one. I remember that. And I was like,
yeah, and then you were like, no, I don't. I think it's bad.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, no, it's actually like it's good, but it's not as good as it should.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people call us spoiled. Oh, you Real Madrid fans, you're worried about selling your play. Hey, listen, it's the team you support, right? It is what it is. What are you gonna do?
Whenever people say that shit, this is my last thing, and then I'll let you wrap it up.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
When people say, "Oh, so and so fans are so entitled," or blah blah, whatever, do you realize that what you're saying is that we just expect our team to win and be the best they could be? You're mad at me for wanting my team to be good. Like I expect my team to be good. Like I'm putting in hours and money. I'm buying jerseys. I'm fucking carving out time in my social calendar. I want them to be good because that's like a logical thing to want. So you call me spoiled, entitled. I think you're an idiot if you're going to spend hundreds of hours of your life watching a team that you think is going to be bad, that you can't trust to be good, and that you're not demanding to be better. If you're not, as a fan, and I'm not saying like stop being a fan of a team or that people shouldn't cheer for bad teams. No, Barcelona fans need to exist. But all jokes aside, like it's my thing with like people that cheer for poor teams and then want to carry it around like it's like a badge of honor. It's like, well, yeah, you wouldn't understand because like I'm a fucking Burnley fan, and okay, be proud of being a Burnley fan, but you also expect things of your team. Just because you don't expect to win the Premier League doesn't mean you don't expect them to sign players or to, bring in a good a manager or to play a style of football that will win games. So I expect things of my team too. The difference is I know the team I cheer for. The team I cheer for needs to be winning. Or else what am I doing? Why am I doing this podcast? Why am I carving out time on Tuesdays to watch my team play? I want them to win. Yeah. That's the contract we're in. Real Madrid wins shit. I want them to win shit. So all these conversations we have, it's funny because any other team, these would be different conversations. We'd be fucking happy. The two of us would have just been like, oh my God, it's so great. We're 4-4. Arda Güler, next Ozil. Can you believe we just have Rodrigo like on the bench? Who knows? Maybe we'll sell him in fucking January and have more money for a new player. Like that's the conversation we're having. Instead, what we're doing is being like, hey, these are some things that I've noticed that give me some pause, some thought. Yeah. Like I don't want to sell Rodrigo because he's a really good player because of this one. Yeah. That's why we're talking about that. If you want to listen to a bunch of losers talk about how good their players are and how they think they're perfect, listen to Barcelona podcasts. That's
again, you're not wrong. It's like people choose to be fans of the teams that they are for reasons. You're born there, a family member, it's passed down, etc. Whatever it is, what it is. But yeah, like it's people are like, oh, Real Madrid fans, you just worry about being worried and buying and selling the best players in the world. It's like, dude, every team has the stuff that they talk about and it's relevant to them based off of where they are in the league. Newcastle fans are worried about the stuff going on with Isak. Burnley, like you said, is worried about staying up. It's that. I would love genuinely to be a fucking, I don't know, Wolves fan and be like, hey, listen, we're in the Premier League and we made it up and the vibes are good and hopefully we stay. And if that was like the stress that I had, that would be great. But I support a team that has the expectation to not win almost all the trophies, win all the trophies, like every single one. So yeah, we're looking at this, and we're challenging each other, and we're talking about it and saying like, "Hey, listen, things are good." But like Ruben said, is Güler a nailed-on starter? Is there this agenda that, and like I was saying, with this whole media saying that, Vini doesn't like Xabi Alonso, and he was yelling at him, and it wasn't the referee, and what's going on with Rodrigo? It's like, dude, these are stresses that I would absolutely love to not have. But again, like Ruben said, we're noticing these, so we're challenging the general rhetoric. Otherwise, yeah, we could just be like, oh, happy day, and just go around and say, we're top of the league, and that's it.
And the thing is,
don't worry about
whenever Real Madrid lose, all the people listening to this that aren't Madrid fans or anybody that I have in my life, you make fun of us because we're losing. So that leads me to believe that you think we're supposed to win every game too. Because or else why are you making fun of us? We're the best team in the world. Anyways, that's all I have to say. That's my piece. We could wrap this up. The next episode will probably be some sort of Champions League roundup since this is the first week of the Champions League.
Yeah, that's true.
And maybe
I forgot about that.
Because I don't know what Premier League games are on this week, but I don't know if there's a lot of blockbuster ties. I mean, there's always important matches, but Brentford United, Manchester City, Burnley, Palace, Liverpool, the Marseille Derby, some people are calling it. Forest, Sunderland, Villa, Fulham, Everton, West Ham, Newcastle, Arsenal is probably the biggest game.
Yeah, that's definitely the biggest one that's coming up. Yep.
So we'll probably just be a roundup on the Champions League and maybe talking a little bit about that. No, it'll be a Champions League roundup. We'll talk about what stood out to us, and then
we might do one just on the recent results of this weekend or whatever on the Premier League.
Oh yeah.
The United result. Is Amorim really being sacked? Is it over?
Man, they were singing "Sacked in the Morning" to him. Sacked in the morning. It's rough. Not good. It's not good in Manchester. But anyways, I think that's it for us today. Yeah.
There's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of things that I'm going to actually keep an eye on as well, especially the whole Vini movement and
the agenda, and the agenda, the hashtag agenda
against Vini. I'm going to keep an eye on that actually. Because I was, like I said, I was noticing the media creating stories. I'm like, what are you doing?
The media is definitely
what is this? But yeah, it's going to be fun because I don't want Vini to be sold because then I can't wear this jersey, and I just bought it, and it's nice. Yeah, and I like the way it looks. So
I love Vinicius. I don't want to be sold. That would be one. There's always transfers that hurt you, and that would be one that would hurt me. Truly, like the Di Maria one hurt me too. Like
I would say Di Maria and Ozil actually hurt me both. I was like, huh? And then
Ozil, I understood a bit more. It hurt me, but I understood a bit more. I liked Di Maria.
Di Maria more, I would say, but Ozil, I was like, damn.
This one would feel very similar.
Yeah. There's a lot to break down. There's a lot to talk about. Leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Who's being sold? Who's staying in Real Madrid? Is Atletico finished? Is Barcelona washed?
Yeah. Name your top 5 fraudulent managers. Pep Guardiola, Diego Simeone, apparently Ruben Amorim, and fucking Eric Ten Hag.
Poor Ruben Amorim.
I want him to be good so bad, man. It's funny because I listen to podcasts. Sometimes people just refer to him as Ruben. And I'm like, it trips me out because it's my name. Yeah. And I'm like, I just want you to be good so that there's another person with his name doing good stuff. And it's fucking shit in the bed.
Oh, man.
Meanwhile, Rasmus Højlund is scoring for Napoli. That's you can't write this shit, bro. Speaking, there's random side comment.
Yeah.
Ederson, Galatasaray played transport today,
and they won. Yeah.
Manchester United players cannot stop losing.
No, football is funny. It's cruel. It's I don't know. It makes you laugh. It makes you cry. I don't know what to do as a United fan. Oh, the one thing I want to say, I know we're going long, but we might as well just add one more thing. Have you seen the United Strand guy? The guy who won't cut his hair if United win, and it's like
because he's waiting for 5 matches.
Yeah. I went all the way down. I scrolled down his entire feed to see when he started, and I was like, "Oh my god, this has been a long." Poor guy.
I mean, whenever he cuts, he should donate it to cancer research or whatever. It's gonna be
for sure somewhere.
He's gonna be able to give 10 kids new hair. Holy fuck, man, shit's getting out of control. It's they're down tremendous, man. They're down tremendous. But that's it from us. We'll see you next time. Touchline Banter. Enjoy. I mean, the weekend's already over. Most of I think all the matches have been played more or less, but enjoy the Champions League this week if your team is in it. If your team is not in it, enjoy the Champions League as a neutral. And we'll see you next time on Touchline Banter.
Peace.